have a little story time. The full article is available in the link. So just if you want to see the whole article, I will also have that in the link. So I'm walking down the street and I have this beautiful, I live in Southern Ontario, Canada. For those who don't know that, there's this like long laneway into my community where I live. It's just trees, and it's 3 minutes from Lake Huron. And I go on walks down this long laneway, and it's full of trees, as I said. So I was just like in this really blissed out state. I was listening to music I liked. The sun was on my face, and this was just in the springtime. So like the sun on your face is it's like an amazing feeling when you're in Canada or a cold climate anywhere. And and then I was just like really being in this completely amazing space of bliss and joy for no reason. And then out of the corner, I see a gray car and there's people in it. And I just like immediately was like, oh, put on my normal suit. And it was so shocking to me that that was my knee jerk reaction to stop, to just like, no, can't be seen like this. And it wasn't an intellectual thing. Obviously, it was just this, like, don't show people how happy you are, or I don't know. Like I just, so all of this came to me for the rest of the walk, was really curious about why that was such a like knee jerk reaction, or feels like a heart jerk reaction, right? It was like, I have to close up, can't be seen like this. No, no, no. And so I explored it in this article about something I'm now calling shine shame. And if you're not familiar with the term of shame, it's the deepest, ickiest human emotion that you're not enough. Not that you've done something wrong, that's guilt, but that like you yourself are not enough. That's what shame is. But what I realized while I was walking and being in this super blissed out state was that I had shine shame. I was like, oh, I can't like be happy for no reason, or just be like, I don't know. There was something so vulnerable about being in a state of joy and being seen in a state of joy with no reason that felt like that's not okay. So as I kind of explored this on the rest of my walk, and I've been thinking about it in general, is that, I've gone through this like whole healing journey of transformation and psychotherapy, and just like really not having it be about healing anymore, but about how can you literally live your best life and have joy be normal. And that wasn't accessible for me at certain times in my life. And so to actually have that be my arc of transformation. And now at this point, this whole concept of shine shame, of like hiding what really matters to us, or even hiding it from ourselves, what really matters to us, because singing really lights me up. And I was just like, oh, I gotta like make it in this world and get a job and make money and pay my rent and do all the things. And those are important things, and those need to be done. But it was like I had to shut off everything that made me happy, or like consider it a luxury or something. And as I've been growing in success, so-called success, right? Like where my business is doing well and it's kind of running on its own, and people come to me easily and effortlessly, and all of these things that I've been working on with my transformational coaching business, it's like, okay, but what is success for me? And so in 2016, I actually asked myself, oh, what do I want? Okay, great. I have clients. Great. I have income. Okay. Now I have a house. Now I have these things. And those are great. So grateful. Amazing. But what would delight me? What is success for me? And since that time in 2016, that has been a question. And I also did an ayahuasca ceremony in 2014. And the message was, how much light can you hold? Which I then did the keynote talk in London at the Spirituality Expo in 2017. So this has been an evolution for me to discuss something that I'm noticing in myself, and then obviously other people are having it, of this shine shame. So why are we afraid to show what we really care about? And that's now what I want to get to, how I can actually be of assistance if someone else is going through this. One, even noticing, now maybe other people don't have this, but if there's this deep vulnerability in showing the world what you care about, because, and here's where the fear comes in, and here's where the heart jerk reaction thing that I've also just made up is like, we're afraid to be, and I have it written down here, I was afraid to look crazy. I was afraid to look like a fool, stupid, or like if you get, these are all unconscious things. If you get too high, oh, well, then the fall will be that big. And I think we've all had, you know, especially when we're kids and when we're enthusiastic and we don't have the wisdom to go behind the enthusiasm, and maybe someone said something, a teacher, another student, and like it's usually like school years and other kids on the playground. Like these are our most common forms of something. Somebody said something and we were crushed, and our heart was crushed, and our dreams were crushed, and it could have been like whatever dream it was when you're a kid. It could be that like unicorns exist and someone crushed it, and so like that enthusiasm kind of died, and your light literally dimmed in those moments. And we all have those moments, and they're different for everybody, but they're exactly the same. You lit up, you shared it with someone, and it was like, and then you got crushed or something. You closed down because the only thing your mind could come up with was the only way to not feel as much pain again is to actually put walls up, not feel enthusiasm, protect yourself, don't feel disappointment, so don't feel enthusiasm, don't feel joy. And so what a lot of people that are coming to me in my world and transformational coaching and all these things is there's like a meh, like things are good, and but there's a meh, there's a gray, there's a dissatisfaction just lurking in the background, and food doesn't get to it, and shopping doesn't get to it, and then they start to feel kind of guilty because they've got a great partner and they have great kids and they have a good job and like things are good. Like obviously not everyone's in that circumstance, but who I'm encountering are a lot of people where everything's good, but there's this hum of dissatisfaction and it doesn't go away. Nothing's making it go away. And here's what I think. That hum of dissatisfaction is your own truth, your own soul that is being held back. And it takes so much energy to hold back who you really are and like all of your gifts and abilities and just put a cap on it. That's that fatigue. That is that state of meh that is actually calling us like a symptom. Like if you put your hand on a stove and it's like, oh, take your hand off the stove. It's that meh and dissatisfaction and fatigue that people are experiencing right now that I'm encountering is life talking to us. It's life saying, there's this thing you're meant to enjoy and it's part of your gift. And it isn't all just about making money and survival. There's more to your life than getting by and being safe, because shine shame is about being safe. And when we put up the walls and we're like, oh, okay, I'm safe in my walls, we're cutting off all of the joy, all of the light, all of the like life force that wants to express itself through you as you feels joyful for a reason, because that emotional symptom in a positive way is saying yes to that. So for me, I love singing. I love nature. I love big cats. These are leopard if you can't see that. And so the more that I bring that into my life and claim it for myself, the more flow, the more I feel like who I am, the more I don't feel like there's a fight anymore. So this shine shame thing, what did I say here? I discovered a different kind of shame. Yeah, I was just saying, just making sure I'm getting all my points. So shine shame is when you shrink who you are, and I actually wrote it down. So this is my own definition because I made it up. It's when you shrink your accomplishments, your talents, your beauty, your energy, your skills, or happiness in order to avoid the pain of not being received by another person, of not being accepted. It's like rejection, like you're shit, or like you're too happy, so we can't digest you, or whatever all of that is. This is all very unconscious stuff, right? Nobody wants to be the poo-poo person that's like taking someone's light away. It's all a collective thing that we all need to invite in and say yes to ourselves, and say yes to life, and say yes to the joy, and yes to those impulses, and choose them. And then life starts to co-create with that participation. Anyway, I'm like adding so many things to this video this time. This is a big topic for me because it really is like, how can we live with joy not be flaky, not be a fantasy in the clouds, but actually like create a life totally aligned with who we've always been meant to be, in alignment with our body, mind, heart, spirit, and alignment with our gifts and abilities coming out into the world. And that doesn't always mean your job, anyway, I'm going off again. So the shine shame is that when you shrink who you are, because you don't think it'll be accepted on a deep level. And then the cure is to share who you are, be who you are, no matter what, no matter the consequences. You will be rejected. You're being rejected anyways. People are judgment machines. Like, they can't even help it. So you're going to be rejected anyways. So why reject yourself to avoid the pain of rejection outside of the world? You're just staying in a perpetual state of rejection. It's maybe you feel more safe, but it's not safe. It's an illusion. It's an illusion of safety, and there's a big cost to it, and that's your own joy and satisfaction. So the cure is to share who you are, no matter what. And then the key here is letting life. It's a very bold, courageous thing, and this is what I do with my one-on-one clients mostly, is to become so who you are, and like clear all the stuff that wasn't you, and clear all the stuff that felt the pain and sometimes this is really deep trauma. So it's not something to be discarded or dismissed or minimized. I see pictures and then they form into words. So minimized is the word. As they become who they are and they have those courageous steps, and they just like small steps back to being who they really are, life rearranges. Life will rearrange around you, and you can't fake it. Like, if you really create a shift from within, and you can't, this is kind of its own topic, but anyway, life will rearrange around you, and then your life will start to match who you really are, and not the fear of who you're not. And it's kind of magical, but ultimately what we need to look at is, why are we afraid to be big? Why are we afraid to be happy? Why are we afraid to show our gifts and really be seen in our magnificence? Because I think the new problem people are having right now is that they're good. It's like, okay, I've healed my past. I went to therapy. I've done the workshops. Like, personal development and spirituality is a huge industry right now for a reason. People are hungry for this stuff. They're hungry to be who they are in the world and experience it. Yay. Those are good things. But there's also a lot of noise. So you kind of have to really listen to your own discernment. But ultimately, this whole concept of, are you afraid to shine? There's lots of fears in our society. All of the sayings, I won't even get into them. You know what they are: tall poppy syndrome and too big for your britches, and wherever these came from, are sayings, because it's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Okay, well, you're you. You're part of magnificent nature. Expressing yourself is like you, who you were here to be. That's who you are. So to kind of get to that point, if it's not about caring, and it's not about screw the rest of the world, I'm going to be who I am. It's not about that. It's not about reaction. It is about being. It is about, I'm this is who I am. And then when you can do that, no matter the consequences, no matter the backlash of other people's reactions to you showing up as you, because they'll happen. They happen to me. I piss people off for no reason sometimes, because I don't know. I just do. I'm like, okay, I'm not for you. No worries. But it's all about, like, if we just stay gray and mediocre, then we're somehow safe. And I just don't think that's what we want. So, and if you're watching this video and you're kind of like into what I do and what I'm talking about, that's definitely not for you. You have you want to be in the world, and maybe haven't felt safe to do it, and you won't feel safe because it doesn't feel safe. So you have to decide for you, what's the pain you want to feel? Do you want to feel that, like, pain of somebody's rejected me because I showed up? That pain sucks. It sucks, but not as much as I've never showed up. I'm not choosing me. I'm just going to stay small. I'm going to stay gray. I'm just going to not do anything, and then I'll be safe. And I can't do that. I just can't. I can't anymore. So I'm not doing it. I would love for you to not do it, and just like, let your own being show you what you really want to be doing while you're here. And again, this isn't about career and money necessarily. And it can be, sometimes those go poop, but sometimes it's like, my job is this, and it's cool, and I like it, and I get to be who I am there. Then I come home and I do, work at the church, or I do work in the community, or I am a certain person in my family So your life purpose doesn't fit in these compartments. It's who you're being. Your life purpose is who you're being, by the way. So again, another video within the video. But in order to reduce your shine shame and start to feel safe being in the world, you just kind of start, and you might do your hair a certain way that you've always wanted to, like things are like, what would people think? Oh, well, what would people think? And then so you don't do it. No, what would people what do you think? Like, do you dig you? Do you like you? Because as you start to do that, as I said, the world will rearrange around you, and you find your people and they like who they see and they seek you out for that reason. Trust me, I do this. I've been doing this for 7 to 10 years now. It does work. You can trust that. You can trust the impulses from within you, but people can't see you if you turn your light down. Your people can't find you. And that's true too. So yeah, sure, you're going to turn your light up. So some people will be like, oh, I see you and you suck. And I mean, who wants to be that person? I don't want to be that person. When I have that voice in my head and I'm judging somebody, I'm like, oh, blah, blah. It's just like a mosquito. When you walk through a bunch of gnats, those little bugs, that's what that feels like to me. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Stop it, Jenna. Stop it. It's not even me. All of those shitty critical thoughts where we were like bringing people down or judging them or trying to put them into compartments, we can just stop that. We can just manage that. And so no one wants to be that person. And so just let yourself be you anyways, and feel happy, and let that lead, and let that be the new way of motivating, that you're actually being pulled by your vision, pulled by the thing that works for you, going through the fear, going through the what will people think, and then your life starts to align, and it's your life, and you start to feel like who you are. And when you wake up in the morning, there's nothing to do. You're just grateful, and you're like, oh, I get to be me. That's what you get to do when you're not afraid to shine your light. So hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time.